Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Simeon Russell. I'm jumping on just for a quick minute to talk about Trey Burke. The Knicks are seriously close to signing Trey Burke, and we're going to talk about it right now. Yes, sir. The Knicks are seriously close to signing Trey Burke. That's the reports that we're getting. Michael, Big Smooth, James, what's going on? I'm only on for a short time, fellas, but I just wanted to get the news. Just wanted to get the news out right quick. Yeah, I'm on. I'm on for a few minutes. Got a little video going from the G League on Trey Burke, so you can look at a couple of highlights. But yes, the Knicks are close to signing Trey Burke. In serious talks, let me say that. They're in serious talks to signing Trey Burke. Reports from Ian Begley say that the Knicks are close, so I want to talk about it right quick. And I'm going to switch over and look at what Ian Begley and the guys are saying about Trey Burke. All right. Just so we can get a quick understanding of what's happening. Trey Burke, it says there are potential trades available that could free up a roster spot for the Knicks to add G League guard Trey Burke. If no trades are completed, in the near future, the organization is considering Raymond Sessions as a candidate to be waived to make room for Trey Burke, per league sources. Burke can sign with any team at the moment, but sources with knowledge of the situation say Burke prefers to strongly sign with New York, even if other teams express interest. Burke is currently averaging 26.6 points per game on 49% shooting for the Westchester Knicks. Yahoo reported on Monday that the Knicks are in serious talks on an agreement with Trey Burke. Okay. That's not the only report. There's other reports out there. We'll take a look at some of the other reports. We have, we have the Daily News here. Knicks in serious talks to reach a deal with G League star Trey Burke. All right. The Knicks clearly don't want to lose Trey Burke. The G League star is in serious talks with the team to strike a new deal, according to Yahoo Sports. The news reported last week, blah, blah, blah. We know about that. The G League Showcase, which begins Wednesday, would give other teams a chance to scoop up Burke, who was averaging 26.6 points and shooting nearly 50%. Yahoo reports that the Knicks are likely to hold Burke out of the showcase with an agreement as soon as this weekend. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, it is kind of big news. Well, they're saying Raymond Sessions if the Knicks can't find another deal. So I'm thinking that they'd probably look for another deal. You know, whose minutes will he be getting? That's a good question. Right now, probably minutes that Tim Hardaway would have been getting, since Tim Hardaway isn't here. You know, but when Tim Hardaway comes back, then of course the question is going to be, whose minutes would he be getting, right? So, you know, that's always something. That's something that we're going to have to look at. I'm interested to see what moves are going to be made to make room for Trey Burke, though. You know, well, we probably wouldn't be trading Sessions, Daniel. We'd probably be probably waive him. You know, he's making the veterans minimum right now, $2 million a year. You know, they'd probably waive him, buy him out, and then he'd be able to go. He'd be free to go sign with whoever else, and then Trey Burke would take his position, unless there's a deal in place for either Billy Hernangomez or Kyle O'Quinn. You know, so here we are, and there we are. All right. Looks like Trey Burke could be a Knick within the next couple of days. The G League Showcase begins Wednesday. So that would mean that they've got to get something done by Wednesday. All right, and here's something else. This is from Shams. I'll just say Shams. Okay, this is from Shams right here. Excuse me. Sources: the New York Knicks and Trey Burke of the G League Westchester are in serious talks on a deal, and the guard expected to be held out of the showcase and in agreement as soon as this weekend. And of course, you see Knicks fans. There you go, rejoicing, happy. You know, Raymond Sessions. It was nice knowing you. It was about damn time. Knicks really about to win the title, huh? That's a joke. Someone trying to be sarcastic. Hey, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, we have it. Hey, it can't hurt to give the kid a try, right? You know, see what happens. And if he, oh, I just popped on him, man. You know, I'm not even going to be on that long. I just jumped on to talk about Trey Burke a little bit because it looks like the Knicks are going to sign him soon. Right? It looks like he'll be a Knick sooner than later. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see what happens, who's going to be moved. So we should expect something to happen within the next few days because the G League, the showcase begins on Wednesday. And if the Knicks are going to hold him out of the showcase, if the Knicks are going to, I guess he could choose, he could opt to, you know, not play in the showcase. And then, you know, the Knicks could sign him. But you would think something's going to happen fairly soon. Yeah. So what are you guys thinking about it, man? What do you think? Tony Crow, you say you called it. Knicks paid him for the season and didn't play him in the preseason. Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about it a while back and saying, you know, just the timing of everything with Trey Burke. You didn't know. It just looked like, you know, that they had an idea or had something with him for the future. You know what I'm saying? Just with the timing of it and how it was signed, you figured they probably had some plans for him. So, you know, here we go. You know, what sessions will probably be waived. I'm not going to say probably be waived. If a deal can't be worked out in the next few days, and we talked about it in the last video about Trey Burke, if a video can't be struck within the next few days, then, you know, you're looking at you know, a deal struck for Kyle Quinn or Billy Hernan-Gomez or something else to open up a roster spot. Then it'll probably be Raymond Sessions. Now, I don't think Lance Thomas is going to be waived. Hornacek likes Lance. I don't think he's going to be waived. Who's going to sit or lose minutes? It's a good question. I think in the short term, maybe nobody, you know, because Tim Hardaway Jr. is not here. So, you know, if Trey Burke is called up within the next, and, you know, once he signs that contract, he can come in and play. You know, he's healthy. Hopefully he knows the system. I'm not saying that they're going to come in and start him, but, you know, he should probably be able to come in and they might give him some minutes soon. They might try to work him in with the guys a little bit. But I think that in the short term, if he's playing before Tim Hardaway comes in, you know, maybe Baker loses some minutes, Michael. Right. Maybe Baker loses some of his minutes. I don't think Frank's gonna lose minutes unless Frank's not having a good night. You know. In the long run, it'll probably be Jack, I think, that loses some minutes. You know, especially if you can take away a few minutes from Jack now, you know, you can take some of Ron's minutes and then take away some minutes from Jack now in hopes that maybe later on Jack can be healthy when we need him for the playoffs or a playoff push or whatever it is. You know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how it all works out, what the chemistry is going to be like. You know, and if he can provide, Tim comes back in about 2 weeks. But I think that Trey Burke could probably be on before 2 weeks, you know. I mean, we're talking about, if you're talking about this weekend, you know, he could come in and play this weekend. You know, he could come in and play this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks and how we mix everyone in and how the chemistry grows, how the chemistry builds. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you bring up Trey Burke, now you got Ron Baker, Trey Burke, Jared Jack, and Frank, right? So now you kind of got a glut at the point guard spot. Well, we already got a glut at the point guard spot, kind of, because you got Sessions and Baker and Frank and Jared Jack, but Sessions and Baker don't play that much. Baker gets a little bit of time. But if you bring Trey Burke up, then obviously you're bringing him up to play. So now it creates a glut, right? You're talking about, 4 players, 3 of them that deserve to play. Ron Baker is iffy. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So then now you're looking at maybe there's some moves that are going to be made to the point guard spot as well as your center position come the trade deadline. Now, he could always be looking to say, Scott Perry could always be looking to say, well, let's see what he does, and then we'll make a decision by the end of the year. I don't think that they're going to give him a contract that's a multi-year contract. They'll probably give him a contract that's, till the end of this year, and then they'll look at re-upping him for the, re-upping him next year if he's worth it. But the good thing is that you're bringing in players, hopefully bringing in talent, guys that can play the way you want to play. And if you have even if you have a glut right now and you have a wealth of talent there, you have some guys that you can pick and choose from come this summer. So, that's the story right now. That's what's happening right now. We'll see what he does. We'll see what happens. Ishmael, you say Trey Burke is apparently the next Kenton. You say Kenton. Who is Kenton? Honestly, though, Ishmael, I don't know what Trey Burke is going to bring. He's doing one thing in the G League, which he's killing the G League. You don't know if it's going to translate to the NBA this year. But Raymond Sessions, it doesn't hurt to bring him in if you're getting rid of a player that you're not using. So then what's it hurt to bring him in? If anything, if he doesn't produce, then you don't play him. And, it's all for naught. If he comes in and he produces, then you made a good move. Especially if he's on a small contract and he produces, then maybe you made a good move. So I think we're just going to look and see what he does. See what happens and to make decisions from there. And he may, if he can penetrate the way he's been penetrating in the G League. I mean, we know he can penetrate. We've seen things that he's done in the league before. It's not like Trey Burke can't play at an NBA level. We know that he can. He may not have had what everyone he may not have been the player that everyone expected him to be, but he can play basketball. We know that. And sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer to play and develop in certain ways. He's still a young guy, still has a little bit of time to develop. So, hold on 1 second. Let me bring it back. Made a mistake there. Accidentally typed something I shouldn't have. Apologize about that. Did it again. So let's see, Trey Burke is Trey Burke is 25 years old still. So he's still young. Yeah, 25. Same age as Hardaway right now. And he doesn't turn 26 until November. So, there's some time for, there's some time for him to do something and see what happens with Trey Burke. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? The good thing is that it's a chance, but it's a safe chance, right? It's a safe, not a safe bet, but it's a safe chance. If he doesn't work out, boom. I don't think, Ishmael, I don't think we give him a multi-year deal now. I think they give him a deal to the end of the year, and then see what happens. Or maybe they give him a deal, something that's like guaranteed to the end of this year, and then a team option for next year. Something like that. I think that it'll be an extended tryout for him, somewhere around there. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this works out. It could work out. It could work out really good. It could be a disaster. But the fact that he's probably going to be signed just until the end of this year on a small contract, it diminishes, the what could, it diminishes anything bad, So hopefully this works out the way that we want it to work out, and Trey Burke will come in, penetrate to the basket, add some more speed, be able to add a little bit more to the small ball attack. Be able to open up the lanes a little bit, some things like that. Hopefully that's what we're going to be able to get from Trey Burke. Daniel Watkins, you said the Knicks are doing the right thing. Get your bench right, then get those good free agents. I agree with you. Probably doing the right thing. Build that bench up. Xavier said Burke and Timmy played together in college. Maybe they'll ball out together. Let's hope so. Let's hope that they're able to, rekindle some of that magic from Michigan. You know what I mean? Jimmy Fredette found his home in China. A young wing in the G League with something to prove could be exactly what we need. Could be, and he could be. We've been talking about how we need a boost. You know what I'm saying? He could be the guy that gives us that boost. You know what I'm saying? Because he's definitely going to be hungry. He's going to be looking to prove himself, looking to prove that he can, he belongs in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So, this could be that boost that we need. It could be something that's good for him, and it could be the boost that we need to, get back on track. Just by bringing in more energy, infusing some energy into the team. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing that we needed. We need it. Ishmael, you say you don't want Burke. We should just develop Frank. Bringing in someone else might be him feel like he's doing bad and lower his confidence. I don't think so. I think that I think that if you're a baller, man, I think you can play with whoever's on the floor. That's one thing. And I think that by bringing in, by bringing in Trey Burke, if Ntilikina is who we think he is, it'll motivate him to play better. You know what I'm saying? It'll motivate him to say, all right, I better show up. But I also think that I think it can help. I think it can help Frank. You know what I'm saying? Because, right now he's learning from a guy in Jared Jack who's a little bit older, and he knows how to, control the offense and those. Control the offense and those type of things. But he doesn't really play up tempo. And if you get a guy that's playing a little bit more up tempo, then maybe Frank plays up tempo with him. But I think you can find ways because Frank can play off the ball. You know what I mean? And having someone like Trey Burke who can get to the basket can maybe open up some things for Frank. I don't think it. Look, competition, in my opinion, competition doesn't hurt your development. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a baller, you're like, okay, I got competition. I better step my game up and I better play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Burke can challenge him in practice, things like that. I think it can help. If you're a baller, it helps. We can look at Billy Hernangomez and say, well, we brought in as cancer and look what happened to him. But if Billy Hernangomez was, if he was a baller, he would have stepped up. You know what I'm saying? He would have been like, no one's gonna take my spot. That's it. So we'll see. I think Frank will be able to. He'll adjust. He'll be okay. You know what I mean? He'll be okay. I think there's nothing wrong with having talent on the team. The more talent you have, and if it can work together, you can put it together. Then your team is going to be better. Everyone's going to shine a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Exactly. Competition makes you hungry. Competition makes you. If you're that type of guy, if you got that kind of heart, competition makes you hungry. If you don't have that kind of heart, then competition, and you'll melt from the competition. You know what I'm saying? I think Frank had that kind of heart. I think Frank is the kind of guy that'll step up. So I'm not too worried about Frank. You say, okay, Sam, but what if he plays better than Frank and takes his minutes? Frank is supposed to mature into the starting role. Now there's someone who might completely take it from him. But see, my thing is this. If you are, I understand what you're saying. Like right now, maybe he's a little bit more mature than Frank, and he might take some of Frank's minutes. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that I think it's about the competition, man. If you can play, you can play. And I think even if you have guys there, if you're competitive and you got that heart, you're gonna step up a little bit more, and you're gonna play a little bit harder. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me not say harder. You're gonna take your game up to another level. You're gonna do the things necessary to take the game up to another level. I think that if he ends up taking some of Frank's minutes, then will it hurt his development? I don't know. That all is going to depend on Frank. It's going to depend on how much does Frank want his minutes, how much work does he put in to gain those minutes. And I know I'm talking a lot about work and work ethic. We know Frank has the work ethic, and not every player. Some players, no matter how hard they work, they're not going to just automatically get minutes just because they're working hard. They're not going to automatically be a great player just because they're working hard. Then that comes down to the talent that they have, and then, ultimately the hard work and the talent is what creates the player. So if you have those things, if you have the hard work and you have the talent, and you have the basketball IQ, then you'll probably do okay, and that's what it's going to boil down to. And I think the competition helps you raise those levels, even if you are a young guy, you're still learning. It's going to help you raise your attention to detail. It's going to help you raise up. If you were not getting up 6 o'clock in the morning and getting that extra in, you got some competition. Okay, I better get up 6 o'clock in the morning and put in the extra. I better spend some extra time after practice. I better get in the gym. Instead of getting in 30 minutes before or an hour before the game, I'm getting in an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, because now I got some competition here. To me, competition fuels it all. And if you're not good enough to handle the competition, whose fault is that? Is that the coach's fault? Is that the other player's fault? It'll play out. The best player, is going to play out. Now, the fact that Frank is young does play a role, Ishmael. I understand what you're saying, right? The fact that Frank is young and he's not, he's not as mature as Trey Burke. That means something because that means that maybe Jeff Hornacek says, well, I'm going to play Trey a little bit more than Frank, so Frank won't get that game time experience. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that Frank will be able to step up. What Frank does and what Trey does are two opposite things. You know what I'm saying? Because, Frank is more of a distributor and a playmaker. And Trey is going to be a little bit more of a scorer. And so I think that they're going to be able to play off each other. And because Trey can penetrate, he's going to be able to, I think that Frank is going to be able to get open on the offensive end a little bit more. And none of our guards, none of our guards are really the defensive guy that Frank is. And that's going to hold him in the lineup. That's my opinion. That's what I think. I just think that competition is a good thing. The deeper your team is, the better your players are going to be. And I think that it fuels the fire and it should make you better. That's just what I think. And if it doesn't make you better, then maybe you don't belong. Then maybe you don't belong. Now, see, Ishmael, you're right. You're exactly right. I get you right there. You're right. And I don't think that they'll do that. I think the Knicks know and understand who is the guy in the future, who's supposed to be the guy in the future. But he still has to, nothing is going to be given to you. You still have to earn it. Just because, okay, I was drafted at a certain spot, I'm going to be the guy in the future. You still got to earn it. Billy Hernangomez learned that this year, and he's learning that. You still got to earn it. You got to earn that spot. Having competition there helps you earn it. But I agree. I don't want the Knicks to lose sight and say, okay, let's take Frank down a notch because now we got another guard here. I agree with you. I do not want that to happen, but I don't think it will. I don't know if he'll feel rushed. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, having another guy in practice that he has to defend, really has to defend, I think it's going to help him defensively, and I think it's going to push him offensively. But it's a good debate to have though, Ishmael. Definitely a good debate to have because it's a valid concern. It's a valid concern and something that we're going to have to watch for. But listen, guys, I wanted to jump on quick and just talk about it a little bit. I wish that I could stay on a little bit longer, but I've got to jump off. I got some other things that I have to handle. But if any other news pops off, I will jump on. And of course, I'm going to be on excuse me. I'm going to be on Wednesday, of course. After the game, 10:30, I'll be there. All right. So, but if anything happens, I'm going to jump on and we'll talk about it a little bit. So have a good night. Be easy. Peace. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Check out these videos over there. Ring the bell so you can get a notification. We'll be on live Wednesday, 10:30 after the Knicks and Bulls. Peace, y'all.